When someone gives what sounds like a compliment, but leaves a strange feeling in the pit of the stomach, that uncomfortable reaction happens for a very good reason. These seemingly kind words carry hidden messages designed to tear down confidence, while the speaker gets to walk away looking innocent. Most people never learn to spot these verbal traps, which means they keep falling for the same manipulative tactics over and over again. The worst part about these fake compliments is how they make people doubt their own feelings. Someone just said something nice, so why does it feel so terrible? The answer lies in understanding the psychology behind these carefully crafted insults disguised as praise. These words are weapons wrapped in pretty paper, and once someone learns to unwrap them, they become impossible to ignore. Today, we are going to expose exactly 5 of these sneaky compliments that people use to bring others down while pretending to build them up. Each one of these phrases has probably been said to most viewers at some point, and they need to know what was really happening in those moments. This knowledge will completely change how they hear certain comments and protect them from future emotional manipulation. Before we jump into these game-changing revelations, it is crucial not to skip any part of this video because each point builds on the last one. To save time while getting the complete picture, watch this video at 1.5 or 2 times speed instead of jumping around or skipping sections. Every single detail matters for fully understanding these hidden attacks. Now, picture this scene that happens everywhere, every single day. Someone walks into a room wearing something they feel amazing in, maybe a bright yellow dress or polka dot pants that make them smile. Then someone walks up with that familiar fake smile and says those words that make hearts sink faster than a rock in water. The words sound nice on the surface, but something feels terribly wrong underneath. When someone tells another person they are so brave for wearing something, they are basically saying that outfit looks absolutely terrible and only someone with incredible courage would dare to be seen in public wearing it. Think about it for just 1 second. When was the last time someone called a person brave for wearing a simple black dress or regular blue jeans? Never, because those clothes look normal and acceptable to everyone. The psychology behind this sneaky comment is actually quite twisted when broken down properly. The speaker gets to insult someone while looking like the good guy who gives compliments. They are basically saying the clothes look awful, but they wrap it up in pretty paper by calling it bravery. This way, if the person gets upset, the speaker can act shocked and say they were just being nice. Here is what makes this comment even more devastating. It plants a seed of doubt that grows bigger every single time the person looks in the mirror wearing that outfit. They start wondering if everyone else thinks they look ridiculous too. They begin second-guessing their style choices and losing confidence in their own judgment about what looks good on them. The real difference between a genuine compliment and this fake one is crystal clear once someone knows what to look for. A real compliment about bold fashion sounds like this: "That color looks absolutely stunning on you," or "I love how creative your style is." These comments focus on how good the person looks, not on how much courage it takes to look that way. Watch for the body language that usually comes with these fake compliments. The speaker often has a slight smirk, raised eyebrows, or they look the person up and down before speaking. Their tone might sound a little too sweet or have a hint of surprise in it. Trust those gut feelings when something feels off about a compliment. When someone drops this line, there are several ways to respond that shut it down immediately. Try saying, "Thank you, I feel fantastic in this," with complete confidence. Or ask them directly, "What do you mean by brave?" This forces them to explain their insult and usually makes them uncomfortable enough to back down quickly. The long-term damage this type of comment causes goes much deeper than just hurt feelings in the moment. People who hear these fake compliments regularly start dressing to avoid attention instead of expressing themselves. They choose boring, safe outfits that blend into the background because they fear being called brave again. This chips away at their personality and creativity until they become a shadow of who they used to be. Point number 1 out of 5 fake compliments is this bravery trap that makes people feel ashamed for standing out or being different. The next time someone uses courage to describe fashion choices, know exactly what they are really saying and protect that beautiful confidence accordingly. Sarah was getting ready for her college reunion when her sister walked into the bathroom and watched her apply lipstick in the mirror. After 20 minutes of careful preparation, Sarah felt beautiful and ready to see old friends she had not spoken to in years. Then her sister dropped those words that felt like a punch to the stomach. "Sarah, honestly, I think people are going to be so surprised at how much prettier you look without all that makeup." The comment hit Sarah like a truck because it sounded caring and helpful on the surface. Her sister was not screaming or being obviously mean. She was just sharing what seemed like honest advice from someone who loved her. But something about those words made Sarah want to wash everything off her face and hide under the covers instead of going to the reunion. This is exactly how the second sneaky insult works its way into hearts and minds. When someone says a person looks prettier without makeup, they are actually delivering 3 devastating messages at the same time. First, they are saying the makeup looks terrible and makes the person less attractive. Second, they are criticizing the person's ability to make good choices about their own appearance. Third, they are implying that the person usually looks worse than they do right now. The psychological damage this creates goes far beyond just feeling bad about makeup skills. It makes people question their judgment about what looks good and creates shame around the basic human desire to enhance appearance. Suddenly, the simple act of putting on lipstick becomes loaded with anxiety and self-doubt. People start wondering if everyone else thinks they look ridiculous when they wear makeup. Think about how this comment affects daily confidence levels. Someone who used to love experimenting with eyeshadow colors or trying new lip shades suddenly feels scared to leave the house with anything more than basic concealer. They start avoiding photos, declining invitations to events, and generally shrinking their world to avoid potential criticism about their appearance choices. The manipulation behind this statement is particularly clever because it disguises control as caring concern. The person saying it gets to dictate beauty standards while pretending to help. They are essentially saying they know better than the person wearing makeup about what looks good on that person's own face. This is incredibly presumptuous and insulting when really examined closely. Here are some real-world scenarios where this comment typically shows up. Jealous friends say it when someone looks particularly stunning before a night out. Family members use it when they disapprove of someone's style choices, but want to sound helpful instead of critical. Romantic partners drop this line when they want to control how their significant other presents themselves to the world. The most effective way to shut down this manipulation is to respond with complete confidence in personal choices. Try saying, "I love how I look with makeup and I wear it for myself, not for anyone else's approval." Or simply, "Thanks for sharing your opinion, but I feel amazing exactly as I am." These responses make it clear that outside approval is not needed or wanted. Another powerful response is to turn the comment back on the person making it. Ask them, "Why do you think it's appropriate to comment on my appearance choices?" Or, "What makes you think I asked for your opinion about my makeup?" This forces them to examine their own behavior and usually makes them uncomfortable enough to stop. The long-term effects of hearing these comments regularly can be absolutely devastating to self-esteem and personal expression. People start making appearance choices based on avoiding criticism instead of celebrating their own unique beauty. They lose touch with what actually makes them feel confident and beautiful because they are too busy trying to meet other people's standards. Now, if this information is already changing how you think about these sneaky comments, and you have not already done so, smash that subscribe button, because we are just getting started with exposing these verbal traps that people use every single day. Stop everything right now and think about the last time someone complimented one of the biggest accomplishments in life. Maybe it was graduating college, getting a promotion, buying a house, or mastering a difficult skill that took months or years to develop. Now imagine if that person had added just a few extra words to their compliment that completely changed everything about how it felt to receive it. This is where the third devastating fake compliment comes into play, and it is probably the most damaging one on this entire list, because it attacks success itself. When someone says a person is smart for their age, background, gender, race, or any other qualifier, they are not actually complimenting intelligence or achievement at all. They are expressing shock and surprise that someone like that could possibly accomplish something impressive. The psychology behind this backhanded praise is absolutely mind-blowing when broken down properly. The speaker is essentially saying they had extremely low expectations based on whatever category they have placed the person in, and they are surprised those expectations were exceeded. This reduces genuine accomplishments to lucky accidents or flukes instead of recognizing the hard work, talent, and dedication that went into achieving them. Here is what makes this comment so incredibly destructive to confidence and motivation. It takes away all the pride and satisfaction that should come with genuine achievement and replaces it with the message that success was unexpected and probably undeserved. Instead of feeling proud about accomplishing something difficult, the person starts wondering if they really earned it or if everyone else thinks it was just a surprise. Picture how this plays out in workplace situations every single day. A young employee presents a brilliant solution to a complex problem, and their boss says they are so smart for someone their age. A woman delivers an outstanding presentation, and a colleague mentions how impressive it is for someone in her field. These comments completely undermine professional credibility and advancement opportunities. The academic world is absolutely full of these achievement-destroying comments. Students from certain backgrounds get told they are so articulate or intelligent for their demographic, instead of simply being recognized as articulate and intelligent, period. This creates imposter syndrome and makes people question whether they actually belong in academic or professional spaces. Even in social situations, this pattern shows up constantly and damages relationships and self-worth. Someone learns a new language and gets told they are so smart for their background, instead of just being praised for the dedication it took to become bilingual. Someone develops an artistic skill and hears how talented they are for someone with no formal training, as if natural ability and self-directed learning somehow count less than traditional education. The most insidious part about these qualified compliments is how they create categories and hierarchies where none should exist. They reinforce stereotypes and low expectations while pretending to offer praise. The person giving the compliment gets to express their prejudices while looking supportive and encouraging to anyone listening. When someone drops one of these qualified compliments, there are several powerful ways to respond that expose the insult while maintaining dignity and professionalism. Try saying, "Thank you, I worked very hard to achieve this," without acknowledging the qualifier at all, or ask them directly, "What do you mean by that?" and make them explain exactly what they meant by adding those extra words. Another effective response is to reframe the conversation entirely by focusing on the work itself rather than personal characteristics. Say something like, "I am proud of the research and preparation that went into this project," or "This success represents months of dedicated effort and learning." This shifts the focus back to merit and accomplishment where it belongs. The impact these comments have on self-worth and professional advancement cannot be overstated. People who hear them regularly start doubting their own abilities and second-guessing their place in competitive environments. They begin attributing their successes to luck or affirmative action instead of recognizing their own talents and hard work. Point number 3. Out of 5 sneaky insults disguised as compliments is this achievement assassin that diminishes success by adding qualifying conditions that never should have been there in the first place. Every accomplishment deserves to be celebrated on its own merits, without asterisks or explanations about why it is surprising. Speaking of recognizing value when someone sees it, if this breakdown of manipulative language patterns is opening eyes to things that have been happening for years, And if this information feels valuable enough to support the work being done on this channel, there is a thanks button just below this video where donations can be made to keep this content coming. Now let us continue. This next manipulation technique is so twisted and cruel that it needs to be understood as the massive lesson it truly represents, because once someone falls for this trap, it can destroy both self-image and social confidence for years to come. The fourth fake compliment on this list attacks two of the most important aspects of personal identity at the exact same time, which makes it one of the most psychologically damaging things another human being can say. When someone looks at another person and says they wish they could be confident enough not to care how they look, they are delivering a devastating double attack that most people never see coming. On the surface, it sounds like admiration for confidence and self-assurance. Underneath, it is actually saying the person looks terrible and calling them careless about their appearance, all while pretending to praise their confidence levels. This statement creates what psychologists call a false choice, which is a manipulation tactic designed to make someone feel trapped between two negative options. The hidden message is that caring about appearance and being confident are opposite things that cannot exist together. It suggests that the only way to be confident is to stop caring about looking good, which is absolutely ridiculous when examined logically. The manipulation becomes even more twisted when the implications are fully understood. The speaker is essentially saying the person looks so bad that only someone who has given up on appearance entirely would dare to leave the house looking that way. They are framing poor grooming or unflattering clothing choices as confidence, when in reality they are just insulting how the person looks. Think about how this comment shows up in real-world situations and the psychological damage it creates every single time. Someone wears comfortable clothes to run errands and gets told how confident they are not to care about their appearance. A person chooses function over fashion for a hiking trip and hears admiration for their ability to not worry about looking good. These comments plant seeds of doubt about whether caring about appearance and being confident can coexist. The most devastating part about this particular fake compliment is how it attacks self-image from multiple angles simultaneously. First, it criticizes appearance by implying the person looks bad. Second, it suggests that confidence means not caring about important things like how others perceive them. Third, it creates shame around the natural human desire to look attractive and put together. This type of manipulation often comes from people who feel threatened by someone else's natural confidence or authenticity. They cannot handle seeing someone comfortable in their own skin, so they try to tear down that confidence by disguising criticism as admiration. It is a way of making themselves feel better by diminishing someone else's self-assurance. The long-term psychological impact of hearing these comments regularly can be absolutely devastating to both self-image and social confidence. People start second-guessing their clothing choices and wondering if looking put together means they lack confidence. They begin avoiding situations where their appearance might be noticed or commented on, which shrinks their social world and limits opportunities for connection. Here is how to recognize this manipulation when it happens, and respond in ways that shut it down immediately while protecting personal confidence levels. When someone uses confidence to describe appearance choices, they are usually trying to criticize while sounding supportive. Trust those gut instincts when a compliment about confidence feels more like an insult about appearance. The most effective response to this type of manipulation is to separate confidence from appearance entirely in the conversation. Try saying something like, "I feel confident because I like how I look, not because I do not care about it." This makes it clear that confidence and caring about appearance are not opposites and can absolutely exist together. Another powerful way to respond is to question the underlying assumption directly. Ask them, "Why do you think confidence means not caring about appearance?" Or, "What makes you assume I do not care how I look?" These questions force them to examine their own logic and usually expose the insult they were trying to hide. The most important thing to remember about this particular manipulation is that genuine confidence often includes caring about appearance, health, and how others perceive them. There is nothing wrong with wanting to look good and feel attractive. Confidence is not about giving up on appearance. It is about feeling secure in personal choices, regardless of what others think about them. Point number 4 out of 5 is this confidence con that tries to create a false choice between caring about appearance and being self-assured, when in reality, the most confident people often care deeply about presenting themselves well to the world. I need you to take a moment right now and think about something significant that has been accomplished in life through genuine hard work and dedication. Maybe it was learning a musical instrument, building a successful business, maintaining a healthy relationship, excelling in academics, or developing a skill that took months or years to master. Remember the countless hours of practice, the failures overcome, the late nights spent improving, and the sacrifices made along the way. Now imagine someone looking at that accomplishment and telling others how lucky the person is, because they do not have to try hard to achieve success. Feel how that would land in the chest like a punch, erasing all the effort, dedication, and persistence that went into creating something meaningful. This is exactly what the fifth and final fake compliment does to people every single day, and it might be the most infuriating one on this entire list. When someone says another person is lucky because they do not have to try hard, they are delivering multiple devastating messages wrapped up in what sounds like admiration. First, they are saying the success was accidental rather than earned through effort. Second, they are diminishing natural talents by suggesting they require no development or cultivation. Third, they are making themselves feel better about their own struggles by pretending someone else's success came easily. The psychology behind this comment reveals something truly ugly about human nature and how people cope with their own feelings of inadequacy or jealousy. Instead of admitting that someone else worked harder, made better choices, or developed superior skills, they prefer to believe success happened accidentally or through pure luck. This protects their ego while simultaneously tearing down someone else's achievements. Think about how this plays out in career situations and the damage it does to professional relationships and advancement opportunities. Someone gets promoted after years of exceptional performance and hears colleagues say how lucky they are to not have to work as hard as everyone else. A person builds a successful business and gets told they are fortunate to be naturally gifted at entrepreneurship, as if business skills develop without effort or learning. The same pattern shows up constantly in academic environments, where students who excel get told they are lucky to be naturally smart instead of being recognized for their study habits, time management, and intellectual curiosity. This creates resentment from peers and makes high achievers feel isolated and misunderstood, as if their efforts are invisible to everyone around them. Even in personal relationships, this manipulation technique causes tremendous damage to connections between friends, family members, and romantic partners. Someone maintains their health through consistent exercise and good nutrition choices, then gets told how lucky they are to have good genes or a fast metabolism. Someone develops strong communication skills through years of practice and gets credited with being naturally gifted at relationships. The most insidious part about this particular fake compliment is how it erases the learning process, skill development, and character building that comes through genuine effort and persistence. It reduces complex achievements to simple luck, which not only insults the person who worked hard, but also discourages others from believing they can achieve similar success through their own efforts. Here is how to recognize when efforts are being dismissed through fake admiration and respond in ways that acknowledge the hard work while addressing the underlying insult. When someone attributes success to luck or natural ease, they are usually trying to minimize achievements that make them feel inadequate about their own performance or choices. The most effective response to this type of manipulation is to calmly but firmly correct the misconception about effort levels. Try saying something like, "Actually, this took years of consistent practice and a lot of failures along the way," or, "I appreciate the compliment, but this success represents countless hours of dedicated work." These responses educate the speaker while protecting the value of personal efforts. Another powerful way to handle this situation is to use it as an opportunity to inspire others, rather than just defending personal achievements. Share specific details about the learning process, challenges overcome, and strategies that led to success. This not only corrects the false narrative about luck, but also provides valuable information that others can use in their own journeys. The most important thing to remember about people who consistently use this type of fake compliment is that they are usually struggling with their own feelings of inadequacy or lack of direction. They are not necessarily bad people, but they have developed a habit of diminishing others' successes to protect their own self-esteem. Understanding this can help maintain compassion while still protecting personal achievements from being minimized. Point number 5. Out of 5 sneaky insults disguised as compliments is this effort eraser that tries to reduce genuine accomplishments to lucky accidents, when in reality, most meaningful success comes through consistent effort, learning from failures, and refusing to give up when things get difficult. Now that all 5 of these verbal weapons have been exposed, the common thread connecting them becomes absolutely crystal clear. Every single one of these fake compliments serves the same twisted purpose, allowing someone to insult another person while maintaining plausible deniability and social acceptability. They are cowards' tools used by people who lack the courage to either give genuine compliments or keep their negative opinions to themselves. The psychological profile of people who regularly use these manipulative tactics reveals some disturbing patterns about their character and emotional maturity. These individuals typically struggle with their own insecurities, jealousy, and need for control over others. They have learned that direct criticism makes them look bad, so they have developed these sneaky methods of tearing people down while appearing supportive to anyone listening. Here is the simple framework for identifying future backhanded compliments in real time. If a compliment makes the stomach feel wrong or creates doubt instead of joy, trust that instinct completely. Genuine compliments build people up and make them feel appreciated. Fake compliments tear people down while pretending to lift them up. The body knows the difference even when the mind has not figured it out yet. The most powerful confidence-building strategy for protecting against this manipulation is developing an unshakable sense of personal worth that does not depend on outside validation. When someone truly knows their own value, these verbal traps lose their power completely. The opinions of manipulative people become irrelevant background noise instead of devastating attacks on self-esteem. Setting boundaries with people who consistently use these phrases requires both courage and consistency. Call out the behavior directly, limit exposure to these toxic individuals, and surround yourself with people who give genuine support instead of disguised criticism. Life is too short to tolerate people who make feeling bad about personal choices, achievements, or appearance their favorite pastime. Most importantly, trust those gut feelings when compliments feel wrong, because they usually are wrong. The human instinct for detecting manipulation is incredibly accurate when it is not overruled by the desire to be polite or avoid confrontation. That uncomfortable feeling in the stomach is actually protection trying to activate itself. After watching this video, going back to accepting these fake compliments without recognizing them for what they truly are would be like having a superpower and choosing never to use it. Anyone who continues falling for these verbal traps after learning to identify them is essentially choosing to let manipulative people control their emotions and self-worth, which would be absolutely foolish and completely unnecessary. The suggested video popping up on the screen right now has been selected by the algorithm specifically for this moment in the learning journey, and clicking on it will continue building these crucial life skills that protect against manipulation and toxic people. Click on that video because the algorithm knows exactly what serves best next.